Hello, and welcome to the NVT Phybridge IP Configuration Guide. My name is Nico, and today we will be changing the IP configuration of your 10G managed switch. To make these configurations, we can connect to our switch through either the GBE 1 and 2 uplink ports, management port, or the console port. The console port will require a serial console connection and will be accessible via a command line interface such as PuTTY. A connection to the management port or GBE 1 and 2 uplink ports will allow the users to configure the switch through either the GUI or the command line interface. The default IP address for accessing the management port is 192.168.1.1, while the uplink ports for the 1G managed switch is 192.168.100.1. Both IP addresses will have a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. If we are making these changes via the GUI, we can log in with the default username and password. The default username is admin and the default password is admin. Once we are logged in, we can go into the Ethernet page within the Uplink Ports tab and edit the IP address for the GBE uplink and management interfaces. Changing the GBE IP address will directly affect the uplink and downlink ports on the switch, which will affect how it is connected to the rest of your network. The management port is strictly used for out-of-band management and exclusively affects the management port of the switch. Changing the management port IP address will change the IP address we will use to access the management port. In order to change the IP address of GBE 1 and 2, we can change the IP address of either interface by typing in the new IP address within the text box and selecting Apply. It should be noted that when the IP address of the switch is changed, the default gateway box will clear and will need to be reconfigured by the user. Note that if you do change the IP address of the interface you are connected to, you will disconnect from the GUI. This is normal. Simply reconnect using the newly assigned IP address to avoid disconnecting. To avoid disconnecting, we also recommend making configurations to the GBE uplink ports while connected via the management interface, as its out-of-band management is designed around this specific reason. You can generally leave the default IP address on the management port without fear of duplicate IP addresses on your network, unless you are establishing a dedicated management network. Doing so provides a simple and easy, but most important, consistent method of logging in and accessing the switch configuration, even if you are not familiar with the rest of the IP schema or switch settings. If any changes are to be made between the GBE 1 and 2 uplink ports and the management port, we need to ensure that each IP address remain on different subnets. Finally, to complete the configuration, we can either select the Save button within the Ethernet page, or we can access the Admin page within the Terminal tab and use the pal-conf-save command to save our running configuration. Changing the IP address of the switch via the command line interface, we can connect to the switch by connecting via SSH or Telnet with the IP address of the switch, or via a serial console connection with a serial console cable. Once we have established a connection, we will log into the switch with the same username admin and password admin. We will then issue the following commands: pal-set-sys-IP GBE followed by the IP address, subnet, and broadcast address you would like to be assigned to the GBE interface. We can then use the pal-conf-save command to save our configuration. Note that you will lose connection to the switch if these configurations are made via a Telnet or SSH connection on GBE ports 1 and 2. To reconnect, we will consider the new IP changes, ensure the PC is on the same network, and use PuTTY with SSH or Telnet to access the switch with the new IP, and then run the save command. Thank you again for watching the NVT Phybridge IP address configuration guide. All datasheets and configuration commands can be found on our website at nvtphybridge.com. We hope this has been an informative look at changing the IP address of your managed switch, and we hope you have a wonderful day.